Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. 'Tis I, Mike Martins. Welcome to another very, very special and informative edition of Trends in the Housing Market. It is I, your humble servant, Mike Martins. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We got a lot on the go, a lot to talk about, a lot happening in the housing market. Let me know if my mic's okay, if you guys could hear me okay. I did a few adjustments on the computer the other day. I cleaned 3 pounds of dust that was in there, and dust bunnies and dust particles, and wow. Trends in the housing markets, and I'm kicking it off a few minutes early, just to get the show on the go, and lots going on the housing front, guys. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank everyone that's listening to us on the side or on your work radios. I want to thank everyone that's taken the time to share my videos. And if you want to donate to the show, please go ahead and share one of my videos. That's all I ask for. Lots of good stuff on here. Let's go over today's housing crisis videos that I've done since the last Trends in the Housing Market. BC to ban practice of hiding home ownership. So people have been hiding who they were in the home ownership. I don't know why any country would allow somebody to hide who they are when they buy a property. I don't know why. I don't even know how that's even legal. I covered that. Oh, Canada, housing economic takeover. Big issues happening with that in that video. Housing deception in New Zealand. They claimed that they were going to build 100,000 houses by the new housing minister, Phil Tyford, claimed that they were going to build 100,000 with the new Kiwi Build program. They're way behind. Why Australia financial storm? That video is interesting because I talk about why Australia is, in my opinion, the biggest threat to the English-speaking world. It's severely over-leveraged. Household income versus debt load per capita is phenomenal, beyond any other country in the world. And then it goes into the other video I did, Australian mortgages understated by 40%. So not everything's on the books. So the figures you're getting and figures that you're working with aren't 100% legit. The mother all debt loads in Canada. And debt to income ratio, move over Sydney, say hi to Victoria, BC. Victoria, British Columbia right now is the most. Someone's asking, God-fearing is asked, could the New Zealand housing crisis affect the United States? Or affect us? I think he means by the United States of America. No, because the United States of America has already raised interest rates 6 or 7 times to buffer against a crash, and you could still pick up a decent place in the United States for under $160,000. Where to pick up a decent place in New Zealand, you are looking at $790,000 for a decent place. So depending where you're at. So yeah. And what else did I cover with the housing? That's about it. Last week's Trends in the Housing Market was an absolute hit. A lot of people rewatching old Trends in the Housing Market. I want to thank everybody for that. What else? We got comments are rolling in nice and smoothly tonight. And let me know if I'm cracking and my microphone's crackling, or if it sounds okay, if it's feedback's too high. Please let me know. Like I said, computer's purring really nice right now. I did a little bit of work. Got a new screen, got a few upgrades, got a few things done. Okay, sounds fine. Thank you. So, what do you got? Valerie in the comments, God-fearing in the comments, Gary Medeiros, Moby, everybody in the urban off-gridding in the house. Still using the new mic? Yeah, I'm still using it. I just found a few things when I took apart my computer and replugged them in. My graphics worked better for some reason. I don't know what I did, but And I also cleaned out 2 pounds of dust and dirt. It's a gaming PC. It's an older one, but it does the job to stream and render some of my videos. So, yeah. So we got urban off-gridding. Hopefully we can get urban off-gridding on the show on a Saturday, or even on trends in the housing market sometime on Skype, to give us a little bit of insight on off-gridding and what people should do, tips and tricks for survival, what people could do in the meantime while they're, prepping and stuff like that, what to keep in mind. Oh yeah, it is Charlie Brown. In the comments section, we'll have him on this Saturday for survival. This Saturday is off-grid living / survival. Yeah, but still, urban off-gridding said I'm still learning myself. No, you tell us give us tips. Everyone's got something. Everyone's got something up their sleeve. So, here we go, guys. Trends in the housing market. I'll have the Skype on in a few minutes here. There's a full-fledged housing chill in Vancouver, but it hasn't reached Toronto, data shows. So right now in Vancouver, it's supposed to be big spring sales kicking off, and nothing's selling right now, and nothing's happening right now. So just bought a new solar generator. There we go. God-fearing's on the ball here. God-fearing knows what's going to happen. That's why he bought a solar generator. We got Stan Ulch. If you waited to start getting ready, you're behind the 8 ball. Lost Canuck is in the comment section. We'll have him on in a few minutes. He'll be my first guest. But let's go over this real quick here. Data shows Toronto hasn't reached, so Vancouver is chilling out right now. Toronto, it's coming to Toronto. Remember, guys, it's spring, and in the Southern Hemisphere, nothing happened in the spring in the Southern Hemisphere, like Australia and New Zealand. Spring came, nothing happened. Nothing. So Valerie Calver is saying exactly, Toronto still moving. When it comes to housing markets, Vancouver and Toronto pulls apart. The March update housing sales suggest signs of some stability in Toronto's market, where almost the same number of units were sold in March 2019 as in March 2018. Vancouver presents a different and more dismal picture. The number of transactions in Greater Vancouver last month are down 31% from the tally recorded in March 2018. Vancouver has not seen such lackluster in March since 1986. Housing advocates and some industry observers had suggested that the decline in the housing prices will be a boon for those who have previously been priced out of the market. It's not a buying market right now, guys. No effing way. It was argued that the declining prices would bring in a rush of buyers and waited on the sidelines for years of opportunity to own a home. The evidence for such narrative is lacking in Vancouver. Why? Because a detached bungalow is still $300,000. To $1.8 million. So it's not going to happen, guys. There's too many people selling over asking, way over asking. Sal is saying Toronto equals dead cat bounce. Dang is saying I'm waiting for the sideline for 3 years now. Then Urban Off-Gridding is saying the budget is a massive snow job. Yeah, the Australian budget was released the other day. So it looks like it's a lot of, yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't want to get angry. Okay, what else we got here? What else do we have here? Okay, we got everybody in the comments section showing up. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight for Trends in the Housing Market. Okay, Ashley Smith, President of Real Estate Board, we don't care. And another real estate board. So, not interested to hear what the real estate board has to say on anything, because obviously it's going to be a good time to buy. Yeah. So Charlie Brown saying the whole economy and housing market is a scam. Most of Australia is 400K for a 1-story, 3-bedroom home. Stamp duty varies and tax still exist after the added GST years ago. Pensions need money, says the Lost Canuck. George Preda saying the stock market is a joke. It's all games. They're officially offloading before the bottom falls out, says Stan. All right. Let's move on here. The Daily Chase, Toronto housing stable in March, one-on-one with Twitter CEO. So it looks like there's Twitter's CEO there. He's basically telling people that the housing market looks good. Vancouver real estate sales fall to 1986 level. Inventory rises over 50%. This is why I brought this up, this article. Inventory rises over 50%. Woo! Hold on, let me drink some water here. Okay. Vancouver real estate sales fall to 1986 levels. Inventory rises over 50 points. This is the most important one right here, the inventory levels, because we've been fighting with the supply and demand for the last 100 years. Now, where's the supply and demand issue? We have an oversupply on the market. Greater Vancouver real estate prices are dropping, but buyers aren't interested. Numbers show prices rolled back almost 2 years of gains. Kind of reminds you of the stock market, eh? Prices are now in free fall as sales printed a multi-decade low and inventory propped higher. Vancouver real estate prices dropped 7%. The price of a typical home is falling across the RBGV reported the composite benchmark price fell to $1,011,000. So it's almost at $1 million exactly, or under $1 million. Give it one more quarter, it'd be at $960. It's at $1,011,000. Woo! But that's for a tear-down bungalow. That's not a real house. That's like a tear-down bungalow. In March, down 7.7% from last year. In the city of Vancouver, West fell to $1.239 million, down 10% from last year. In Vancouver East, prices fell to $1.239, 8.2% down from last year. Bowen Island and region positive from last year. Okay, nobody cares. So let's move on here. So there it is. It's trickling downwards, market prices. And this is what I want to get to. The benchmark price change, it is going to hit 2000. Are we at 2008? 12 point? No, we're not there yet, but we're going to reach 2008 levels real soon. 2009 levels, so real soon. And where are listings first? Wow! Holy smokes! Look at this. Greater Vancouver composite sales versus listings. Hey, I'm going to climb the mountain. This is inventory going up. Hey, man, I'm going to go scuba diving. Holy max! What? Jack Drysdale says, sounds bullish. Great time to buy. More selection. No, let more go on the market, man. Woo! Look at this. Look at the supply. And look at the sales versus listings. This one's in the clouds. The listings. We're pushing just over 12K. We're at 12,774 listings in Vancouver alone. And sales are 1,727. Wow. What happened to those guys like not even a year ago? If you don't buy now, you will never be part of this market. You will forever be bought out. Someone's asking what's happening in the Fraser Valley. Especially in Kelowna, prices are dropping. Prices are free-falling in Kelowna. So if you're living in the interior, especially in Kamloops is steady. Merritt's steady, where I am. Very steady, actually. Kamloops is steady. East, Princeton is falling. Kelowna is falling. Prince George is falling up north. And you got the Peachland right now is steady. Castlegar is steady. So it's not too bad. It's Kelowna right now that's getting hit the hardest. So a lot of people left Vancouver to Kelowna, propped up the market there, like here in Merritt. My tax return, my tax assessment, whatever thing came. This house went up quite a bit of money. It's a huge house. It's like a 65 front wide lot. This house went up a lot of money from what I bought it for. So Owen is saying it's definitely hit BC, only slighter here in Toronto. Oh, it's going to be a Briggs said it right there. Briggs said it right there. Buyer's market soon. George Pradette is saying you should get and crypto and market on your show, has Toronto and goes, so some great videos. Yeah, I know Crypto and Markets. I've seen him a few times. He's a really good guy. Really good guy. Okay, Greater Vancouver real estate inventory soars 50%. So this is the key to this article. Everything else is fluff. This right here is a great indication of where it's going. Inventory. You notice how they don't bring supply and demand anymore? You notice how supply and demand apparently is no longer an issue. We got the supply and demand figured out. It's unaffordable. Merry Christmas. Okay, so here it is. This is the key part of this article, guys. Pay close attention to this. Greater Vancouver inventory is climbing to pre-price boom levels. REBGV reported 4,949 new listings in March, up 27.2% from the month before. That represents a 11.2% increase when compared to the same month last year. Declining sales is an increase in new listings, push total inventory much higher. That's not including everything that was pulled off the market, too. You guys got to keep in mind, a lot of stuff was pulled off the market. Greater Vancouver real estate listings reach multi-year high. REBGV reported 12,774 active listings in March, up 10.2% from the month before. The number of activities were also a whopping 52.4% higher. Wow. Active, sorry. Inventory levels were highest in March since 2015. Greater Vancouver real estate prices are dropping as inventory rises and sales decline. The level of inventory may seem like relatively normal level, but you need to factor the sales of 2015, where inventory was a 1986 level of sales, mean things can get pretty sloppy pretty fast. And that is true to the word right there from Better Dwelling. Oh, yeah. Australia and Canada's top bank status set to defy downturn. So, I'm also you've been following me here. You know we've been following the Australian real estate market very closely for the last, I think, 4 years now. And Australia is an important key factor to this whole global housing crisis. And Australia and Canada's big banks are expected to remain among the top-rated lenders in the world, even though as household debt is falling and property price increase risks financial stability. So I cannot read this because they want me to spend $300 to read this article. Let's move on. So this is for Mario, is going to come on in a few minutes got Mario on the show. He's just getting off the airplane right now, so we'll get him on the show the second he's in a taxi. Surprise retail results after Woolworth Big W announcement. So guys, I made a video for this on my channel. Where the hell is my channel? Well, my channel's up. Well, I closed my channel. I did a Woolworth one, closing shops. Right now, things are not looking good for the Big W down under. And this is showing you guys what's happening when consumer confidence goes down, jobs are at risk, and there's no more internal consumer spending. When we're not consuming, guess what happens? It's not happening when it comes to GDP numbers and when it comes to growth of the country. The suburbs across Australia suffering the most from mortgage stress. Yeah, a lot of people left the major city, like I told people to, and they're moving into the suburbs. But across March, more than 1 million households, or 31.6% of owner-occupied dwellings across Australia, struggled with mortgage stress, up to 0.6% from last month, according to exclusive data from Digital Finance Analytics. So here it is. If mortgage stress goes up, even, what is that, half percent and a little smudge, people are out. People cannot afford to make their payments. Households are considered stressed with their net income doesn't cover ongoing costs. And right now in Australia, here's your little breakdown right here. There's a top 20 Australian postcodes with the most mortgage stress. So who's the top here? Roxburgh Park. Oh, that's the postal codes or numbers. Sorry. Ellenbrook. We got Camp Hill, Brisbane. Huxton Park. Chippington North, Sydney. Bidwell, Sydney. So there's a lot of places here where a lot of these postal codes where people are in a lot of stress right now. And okay, here we go. Number 1. Wow. In default. Wow. Total in stress, 7,877 just in one little section. Wow. And then we got Sydney Limu. I can't read that. Total in stress, 6,793 with 121 in default. Then you got tapping in the Brand region. That's 6,709 people stressing. That's 313 in risk default. And we got Queensland, Brisbane, and Moreton, Harriston, 6,534 total in stress. These people are all in stress, all within a smidge of losing it all. Woo! Brickhouse in the house. Briggs in the house. Rainier Mullen in the house. Jimmy B747 is in the house. It's all good. Prices will be down 50% in 12 months. The market is toast. People will lose their house back to the banks. That's usually what happens, guys. And I've been warning people about this, so I don't feel too bad. I've been talking about this for years. Valerie's asking, what diet are you on? I'm on the intermittent fasted dieting, guys. Intermittent fasting. So I don't eat all day, and I come home and I have dinner, and I feel great. My mind's sharp. I'm alive. I have energy. I don't know why. I just eat less. I feel better. The more I eat, the tired I get. I don't want to do nothing, and I'm lazy. We got a cotton candy beard, Gary, in the house. A lot of real estate people on the radio are blaming the tighter mortgage rules for less. No! It's the lack of capital flow coming out of China. The second the Chinese government put a limit on how much money is allowed to leave the Chinese shores, guess what? Everything stopped. Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Western United States. What do you think happened? We got Tyler P. in the house saying, hey, Mike, I've been watching your channel for a while. Thank you for the content. No problem, Tyler. Professor Chaos in the house. I've been talking about this for centuries. That's good. The 10-year inverted recently. Rainier Mullah saying, yes, we've been following that. Charlie Brown says, Labour in Australia, left-wing party is going to make the housing market worse, as well as the upcoming laws. PC Principal in the house saying the whole thing started back in 2001 with Canadian mortgage bonds, though. I get that. Yes, it did. But not with the amount of outflow. How much was just laundered in Canada? Never mind how much was brought in legally. Laundered. What, $30 billion laundered in Toronto and Vancouver? That's a lot of real estate that Canadians don't own. Jim B747, you have been right on top of the total collapse for years. You are the best channel on YouTube. Thanks, Jimmy B747. Stan is saying China is a beast. Look at what's going on with Taiwan. I know. Xi Jinping are off on good complex. Rob New Era is watching. CHMC bonds don't explain Vancouver, though I agree. Okay, guys, I think it's time we get the Lost Canuck on to give us an explanation on what's going on here. Get him here. The Lost Canuck, our housing discussion expert here. Where the hell is he? The Lost man. Where is this guy? He's usually on top of my list here. Always on top of my list. I got like 600 people on thing. I got easily 600 people on my 693 people on my Skype. So, whoa, where are you? All right, I'm gonna have to look him up manually. There he is. I gotta get the Raven back on the show too. He's not picking up. He is not picking up, people. He is not picking up. I saw him in the comments like not even 2 minutes ago. All right, so let's continue then. Dublin students, residents cater for children of global... Okay, here we go. Hello?
Mike, how are you, brother?
How are you, my brother? I'm doing good.
Good. I don't want to interrupt your show. I know you're talking, but it's getting late, and I got a couple people watching outside of, you can say outside of Barrie. They're in Ontario.
I just tried calling you.
Oh, did you? Sorry, brother.
I just tried calling you. There was no answer.
Okay, so what's happening? I'm going to give you a little bit of an update now.
Well, why don't you talk about first that article you put on your Facebook? I have it here.
That you're talking about the pension, right? Are you talking about the Fortress development?
Another costly federal IT glitch resolves 10 years later. 66 million in CPP debt owed to Ottawa has gone uncollected because of a technical bug.
Yeah, did you see that? Isn't that a joke?
It's a joke.
10 years it took them to figure out a computer glitch of $66 million. So is that money that's been, you could say, relocated somewhere? Who knows?
It could be in the Grand Cayman Islands.
Oh, yeah, it could be that, or it could be the Panama Papers, but since it's been coming out so heavily. That one there triggered my mind. But the one that I sent you about, I did a video 9 months ago about Fortress Development. And you all know the union that invested in this company that does all developments, including the condos that they shut down, the projects they shut down because of this fraud. And the article that I sent you about a poor elderly couple, a woman that's on there by the name of Bonnie Ems. And I try to put her on my Facebook. And I'm trying to get a hold of her because, you know, here's a 66-year-old woman that wanted to invest. She had a broker come, and they actually, president of Fortress Development, going to meet her in 2016 or 15, and she invested $100,000. It's gone, Mike, and it's all gone. And these people are still operating as we speak today. Like, you can call them, their company's still there, still the office is running like it's nothing's happened. And, you know, some people lose their mortgage license, and me and you said it all the time. Nobody gets punished the real way, the real accountability for it.
Well, the thing is, Mario, the common person, okay? The problem with the common person, when they hit hard times, they got to sell stuff. But when the government hits hard times, they just print off money.
Yeah.
And
Fiat money.
Yeah. So we can't compete with that at all.
No, we can't, Mike. No, we can't. But I want the listeners to know, and yourself, like, we all want these houses to drop so people can afford.
Hmm.
But people have to understand when the houses drop that dramatically, we are going to be in a crisis that people don't understand how to comprehend. Because it's not just about the housing, it's about everything else that follows it. There's people that are on pensions. They are going to drop, and they're going to drop dramatic all of a sudden. You're talking 40, maybe 50% because the money's not there. And I also sent you one about Alberta. They
Yes,
were, yeah, you saw that. They put in $8 billion, okay,
not
into a
pesos.
CPP. Yeah, 8 billion, and they're only collecting 5.2%, 5.2 billion. So you're losing 40 to 35% just on that. So your contributions compared to what you're paying out is a 35 to 40% decrease. So that's just the government itself. But we got to take all the private funds. And this is where we're going to have an issue. Now, I think what's going to happen, Mike, my opinion is I think the government's going to say, okay, who's ever got a union pension or a pension from a company, CPP is going to exempt you. So they're not going to pay you because there's no money. There's actual no money. I think the government's going to implement something like that and maybe give you like a free medical care where you can get prescriptions. So it won't cost you $1,000 a month. It might cost you 200 or 100 on an average person. So the government's going to pitch in on something like that to eliminate at least 30 to 40% of payouts. I see that happening. I see that happening in the next generation of pensioners. And the other thing I want to talk about, Mike, is that there's a big thing going on in Ontario. As you know, I had a discussion with you today. Um, I have a new guy, Rob. He's watching our live today. We were discussing a lot of things, and the thing is that what he liked my video. I don't know if you saw the last video I did. I was on a site. It was a builder going to buy this. He had a trailer up. He did everything a builder would do, and he ended up not selling. He sold a few, but he ended up not even starting to build. So he's trying to sell that property now. So what's happening is there's two things. Number one, the banks are refusing to give the builders the money to build because it's overextended. You could say their loan agreement with any builder. And number two is we have what's called contracts, especially in Greater Toronto area, which unions represent all the construction workers that are dealing with low-rise and mid-rise sectors. So you're dealing with framers. Number one, it's framers. Everybody else is second class. So the framers are negotiating. Now, people have to understand, in 2016, the framers had an agreement that when they went in, Mike, they went in, a non-union builder. Let me explain this again. A non-union builder. How does he get everybody to go and build his houses? He went and said, I'll give you a 40% increase on piecework price. So an average house would cost you, let's say, $4 a square foot. He raised it up to $2.40.
Right.
So he gave that to the actual framer. So this non-union builder, which is Mattamy Homes, indicated initiation for the union to negotiate. So when they went to the table in 2016, number one, they went on strike. Number two, they got a really good hefty. They even got this $2, Mike, before the strike, and they still striked. And when they striked, they went up to 260 over 3 years. So that's a big increase. We've never seen that kind of increase in any negotiations. Now, what's happening is they're lucky if they get 7% over 3 years. They are asking now to go back on the payment. First time in history of any union, any negotiations, especially in construction, they're asking to go backwards now, turn the clock, meaning we gave you that kind of money, we want it back now. It's like being an Indian giver, okay? You want it back now. So to me, what's happening is they're going to be on strike. I'm telling you right now, they're going to be on strike. We have a 40% workforce right now in the framing sector. A lot of these guys are gone because there is nothing going on. There's absolutely nothing going on.
I heard a lot of guys are going up to Ottawa and Montreal.
Yes.
And Nova Scotia.
Yeah. It's true. It's absolutely true. And what's happening is now we're going to have a little bit of a push in Northern Ontario because there's a site I was telling you earlier. It's north of Barrie. I think it's called Mvale. It's just a little bit north. I haven't looked into it, but my brother Rob told me about it, and they sold out the whole site, and they're going to be a little push there. So imagine you're going to have 8,000 framers, members of a union, go there and build these houses. It ain't going to take them long. If you're lucky, I say October, November, done.
Done.
So now we're looking at the forecast. You're looking at January. People are saying, well, you and Mike have been saying this for months. Yeah, we have been. We should have had it in 2017. You know it. I know it.
Yeah, we
that
know
was
it.
number one, right? Number two is now we have an overstack of built homes. We have vacant homes. Now we're having a siege, like it's a contract now. It's stopped. We have unions that now are negotiating. I don't know how many unions are going to agree to prices. And don't be surprised if you see the clock turning backwards because people are. The thing is, the builders hold the cards. Back in 2016, the carpenters and the laborers, they had the cards of a royal flush. So they had a winning hand. Right now, the builders have the royal flush, and we're not even getting our cards right now. We lost before the cards come to us. So that's what's happening right now in negotiations. And and there's houses selling. I have always said it. There's people that are still buying these houses today. In my area, the resales are still selling. Takes a little longer, but they're selling. They went down from 2016 on the high peak. They went down dramatically, 20 to 15%. People don't think it's a lot. To me, it is. It's 30, 40 grand, and sometimes it's 60 grand. But remember, people, these are people that are buying houses because they've been looking in the market because they sold at high times.
Right.
So that's where you're getting now.
Our
You're getting
problem,
those people.
our problem is we're not getting the first-time home buyers in the market, and that's the fresh blood we're lacking.
That's right. That's right. And those are the ones that start families, and eventually from a townhouse they go to a semi or a detached, and they keep moving up in a you could say in a righteous way.
Right.
But right now it seems to me everybody wants the 3-car garage. I'm getting 0.5% interest. I'll get $1 million. I'm okay. And I had a neighbor of mine, old neighbor of mine. He was selling his house. And he bought his house for, I think he paid $360 in 2009. He can get about probably $690 in today's market.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to him, Mike, I said, okay, you lived there how long? Oh, I lived there about 9 years. Okay, 9 years. How much property tax have you paid over 9 years? And we were sitting down and having a coffee because he never thought of this, right? I said, okay, you pay $5,000 a year, whatever, 5,000 a year. That's 45, 50 grand. Okay. And I said to him, okay. And I said, now 10 years, you're paying 5, it's 50 grand. How much money did you put into the house? And he's giving me a number. He finished the basement. He put a pool. He did whatever. So I say, what, 150? Yeah. Okay. So you're at 200,000. All right. I said, how much are you selling the house for? Okay, 700. So you pay 350. So realistically, if you take all the money you put in, all the money that you put in property tax and everything, you're lucky if you walk away with 150 grand in your pocket, buddy. And then you got to pay the real estate. Don't forget. And your land transfer tax.
So you're going to be stuck with roughly like 108,000.
Yeah. So I want you guys to understand, and I tell everybody that's selling a house or anybody that's listening, it's not about what you make that day. Think about what you put into that house. A house, like you said, I agree with you 110%. A house is not something you make double your money. A house is to grow a family, do it right, and go up 7 to 10% in 3 years. So
right.
Then when you move, you don't have to pay that dramatic debt to buy a bigger house or a smaller house. You're in good shoes. But see, that's what, they keep fluctuating all this. All this fraud is coming out, but still nothing is happening. So what I think is going to happen right now, Mike, and I said it from day one with Steve, and I said he needs to step down. He needs to be a man to step down and let somebody run this country the way it's got to be run.
Oh, you're talking about your friend JT?
Yes, sir. And if he would step down, things will change. And I'll tell you why. Because here in Ontario, you have a PC running it right now. He's cutting, everybody's complaining. But let's take his, I'm going to be a little offensive on this. We're used to everything getting paid and everything going out.
Right.
But the problem is when you get in and you see the books, you have to start cutting. You're not used to it. Yes, I know. He's giving the green light to the builders and raising rent and this and that. But who said you had to go and rent that place in Toronto? Who said for you to go buy that house in Toronto or buy that building?
Well, no, a lot of people were misled, right? Yeah. A lot of people were like, if you don't buy now, you're never going to own anything.
So owning, Mike, the problem is we don't, I guess you could say we don't put the definition out there as much. Like I said in one of my videos, owning is something like what you have, brother, and God bless you have it. The house is paid for. You own it. You own it. When somebody says you bought into the market, it doesn't mean you own it. The bank owns it, and you're renting it. So what's the difference between a mortgage that you're never going to have any money unless something comes in big time that you're going to pay it off, or renting it and having your down payment in the bank? I think reality is if people would think like I do or you do, we'd see a market correction. We'd actually
there should have been a market correction 5 times over, but it's never happened because the amount of government propping, the bank propping, first-time buyers loans, interest only, artificially low interest rates, bringing in more offshore. Canada's in the business to bring in wealthy investors. And what do they park their money in? They don't park their money in Canadian businesses, Canadian stocks. They don't park their money in Canadians' futures. They park their money in Canadian real estate. And that's why the average Canadian proper is completely bought out of the market and will always be until there's a shift in some sort of movement in Canada.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? I always say it. I'm going to say it on your channel. I thank God the guy that down south is doing what I want him to do, and all the power to him and his people, because shutting down that border is going to help us in the long run. Do you see what happened with China now, not distributing the drugs now? They stopped the drugs. I think he signed an executive order on the opium, I think it is.
Yeah.
So that's going to help us. That's going to help us. Now, going back to moving, I don't know if you watched that thing on Mexico. You know how everybody was moving to Mexico, and then apparently Mexico's got a lot of murders happening right now. Not murders, I'd say between the drug cartel, because they're having a harder time coming over the border now. I know it's another time. I guess Mike in the night is to talk about that. But I just wanted to give you an update on the housing here. And I feel sorry for my brothers and sisters out there that are dealing with the,
Mario, you put me on hold? Mario, you put me on hold, buddy? Looks like we lost the Lost Canuck. It looks like we lost Mario, guys. It looks like we lost him. That's okay. He got to his point. He explained to us what's going on. He gave us a good understanding on what's going on, and it's really good. All right, let's continue here. So another costly federal IT glitch gets resolved 10 years later. Feel sorry for the people. This is a really good one. Dublin student residents cater for children of global elite, councillor claims. Council meeting told international students filing 80% of purpose-built blocks in city. So they're bringing in international students to cater to international students. Dublin's new student accommodation has become to preserve the sons and daughters of the global elite, the Dublin City Council meeting has been told. Councillors were responding to a report that found almost 80% of people living in the purpose-built student residence are international students. The report on social, economic, and land use impact purpose-built student accommodation commissioned by the council and consultants Keon research found that there were more than 6,000 purpose-built student bed spaces in the city center. Current construction projects indicate that the figure would exceed 9,000 spaces next year, and there was a potential to house 14,000 students in purpose-built blocks by 2024. So it's not going to Irish students. It is I guess being held for elite children to come and study. Oh, we got working on it, man. Holy smokes. I got to get working on it. Where are you? Working on it. I need working on it. Let me see if I can get her on the show here. Let's see if she picks up. Pick up your Skype. Working on it. I'm calling you. See if she picks up. Okay, so I'm trying to call working on it. I would like to have her on my show and find out what the heck is going on. Let's get Steve Thomas on. We haven't had Steve Thomas on in a while. I want to ask him what's going on with the report. Steve Thomas is based out of Melbourne, Australia. Stevie Stevens.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, my brother?
It's an interesting time down here.
Yes, I'm calling you about the report. The report was released yesterday at 5 p.m.
You talking about the budget?
Yeah.
No, it's not gone down very well.
I think it's a lot of willful wishing, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Yes, I would say so. The reason being they're relying heavily on wages coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically not going to happen.
Well, no, but okay. Let's arguably say that wages do come back, and it's not in the mining industry, and it's coming back to the, let's say, middle class Australian. I mean, what are they going to do with all these closures happening in the retail sectors?
Well, this is the problem. You can't have wages coming back logically with the business closing.
That's the thing. Are you seeing a lot of... what are you hearing about this report on the street? What are people telling you? Because I know it's a joke.
Well, people like what I've just said are saying this is rubbish because you're going based on wishful thinking.
Right.
That's simply not going to happen.
Yeah, you can't build a budget on wishful thinking. So, question: housing, is it cooling off in Melbourne?
Definitely. I had a call recently from a well-known Australian economist saying, "How's Melbourne going?" Because they're just waiting for it to crash now.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like it's not looking good right now in Australia. How much time do you think before they really start panic? Because right now they're in panic mode. Spring, nothing happened in the spring. Spring sales are down. Nothing happened. Summer's already almost over. Do you think things are going to rebound in the fall?
No. It'll probably go sideways for 3 or 4 months until next spring, and then we'll see some fireworks. Usually in September, when the football finals come on, that's when they have peak real estate season. If it doesn't pick up then you know something will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Wanted to say, so any horror stories you want to tell us of people? What did you think of that report? Debt to income housing debt per capita.
I haven't actually had a chance to see that one, but did you see the 189.6% for income to dispose? income against all debt.
That's the biggest horror story I've seen.
Yes. It's a disaster.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the forefront, and well, you're on the forefront. I'm seeing it on the back burner here, and it's the same thing here in Western Canada where I'm living. A lot of it's sold out. How much do you think of Melbourne was sold to foreign owned? How much do you think? Because we got 30 billion that was laundered. That wasn't legally brought in. That was laundered, and we got about 22 billion that was legally brought in. How much of Melbourne do you think sold out to foreign investing?
It really depends on which part of Melbourne you go to. If you go in inner and central Melbourne, probably a lot of it would be. But if you go towards outer Melbourne, it will depend on the suburb. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Because I could tell you Vancouver is a good percentage, and Richmond, Vancouver is like about 85%.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's another here called Glen Waverley and another one called Boxer Hill. Similar scenarios.
Okay. Where do you see the markets, Australian markets going? Do you see the dollar taking another pounding next quarter because of the lack of raising interest rates?
Well, they're actually talking about lowering interest rates next month.
But do you see a pounding in the dollar?
Yes.
What are we looking at? 3 percentage points?
In terms of lowering interest rates, they're at 1.5%.
No. I'm talking about the dollar. 3 cents?
Possibly, yes. The simple reason is you can't get lowering interest rates because then you're verging into negative interest rate territory, and that becomes a cost, not a revenue item.
Right, because, yeah. And what do you have to say about inverting rates?
That's very scary because what you're saying is now you can earn more on a short-term bond than a long-term bond. That does not make good economic sense.
Okay, one last question. What is, for people watching that I'm not too sure about Australia, what is Australia's number one major export?
Number one major export is coal,
Okay.
followed by iron ore.
Okay, iron ore. For people, because a lot of people ask me questions about Australia, I'm like, well, I'll ask people that come on once in a while the odd ball question to get people informed, and maybe future investors might go to Australia.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Stevie Stevens Thomas, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us on Trends in the Housing Market live, and we'll keep you on the pulse. You keep us on the pulse. Anything happens, you go ahead and message me on Skype, okay?
No worries. Thanks, Mike.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That is Stephen Stevie Stevens Thompson in Melbourne. Oh man, I'm so out of it today. In Australia there, giving us a little bit of what's happening in... Hold on. He's in Melbourne, sorry. Australia, I was correct with that. And yeah, he seems to be doing well. And looking forward to hearing from some of you guys. Wow, lots going on in the comment section, guys. Too much to read out. Anon saying iron ore is one of the major exports for China to build more warships. Lots going on in the comments. 101 people watching. We're at 112 watching, believe it or not. Trends in the housing market. All right, so we read this. Dublin residents cater for children of global elite. So they are putting up school housing and dormitories for elite. Kind of like Canada, competing for elite rich investors. Like the weather, Seattle's spring real estate is just getting started. The Q1 doesn't look like it's going to stay that way forever. So they're forecasting a huge huge sale. So here we go. Image. Here it goes. This is the image here of this house. Woo. And it's sold, and it's listed for $275. So there you go. Houses looking like they're getting to a point. According to CoreLogic's number, Washington's growth in February 2019 for a single family year over year was just 4.6%, marginally more than the national average of 4%. Both those numbers represent something of a cool down, according to Dr. Frank Nothat, chief economist of CoreLogic. During the first 2 months of the year, home price growth continued to decelerate. Nothat said that their most recent report, this is the opposite of what we saw last 2 years when price growth accelerated early. That doesn't mean that the housing is suddenly cheap. Either locally or nationwide, CoreLogic report also looked up the top 50 markets based on the housing stock. We found that 40% were overvalued by 18%. This is in the United States. We're undervalued by 42%. We're in the value of February of 2019. So Seattle is seeing a little bit of a plateau effect happening right now. How the Bay Area tech and IPO boom could create a ripple effect in Seattle's housing market. So again, looking ahead to what could be the biggest IPO bonanza since the dot-com experts expect a wealth in shock and could jolt the San Francisco Bay Area's already high price point market with little available housing supply in the Bay Area. So the Bay Area is the only place right now that's kind of settled, and it's sitting at absorbingly crazy pricing. California's transit housing bill pushing for taller, denser growth clears first hurdle. So they want higher buildings. They want more dense. Senate Bill 50. And boost housing density. I don't agree with housing density because when there's a natural disaster, there are too many people cramped up in the same place. So this bill they're trying to pass this bill today. So this bill is in reading right now, and they are pushing for taller and denser growth. I don't think so. Has California's housing market become unreasonably high? Well, you know what? I'll be really frank with you guys. With the amount of people that are leaving California, it goes to show. Let me get to the point of this article. Median annual household incomes in the price of San Jose and San Francisco metros sit above most areas, above $124,000, $107,000, respectively, compared to the national median of $63,000. So this is the median annual household incomes. Okay, but the extra income is not enough to compensate incredibly high local home values. The median income in San Jose of a house value is $1.25 million, and San Francisco is $957,000. Zillow said that even with a 20% down payment, home buyers still end up exhausting over 30% of typical household income on the $4,900 average monthly payment in San Jose. So they're paying, listen to this. So in San Jose, the average mortgage payment is $4,900 American per month. That's like $6,100 Canadian. Holy. In San Jose, it's $3,760. So this is why I keep bringing this to your attention, guys, especially if you are living in the west coast of the United States of America. California housing seen cooling further going into 2020, says UCLA forecast. So the University of California, Los Angeles is stating that average expected to rise are going to be lower, and they're looking anywhere from 3.4% with the slashing of jobs, and the state has added 28,000, 30,000 jobs. They're looking at about a decline in the California housing market. I think if California fails, just like Vancouver, Toronto, Sydney, Melbourne, Auckland, and London, if they fail to get the first home-time buyers on the market on the property ladder, it's not going to go anywhere. It's a pipe dream. In San Francisco, tech boom has left people priced out of housing. Right here, average monthly rent for a 2-room apartment in the city by the Bay runs $3,700 US, the highest in the United States. $3,700 US. And households of 4 with annual earnings of less than $117,000 is officially considered low income. So guys, if you are in San Francisco and you if your household income is $117,400 US dollars, that's like 156,000 Canadian. That is considered low income. You're at the poverty line. That's how bad it's getting. Here's why San Francisco housing prices soon get even crazier. Man. So this goes into the real estate agents are already drooling. According to the Times, at a recent gathering, one agent said there likely won't be any one-bedroom condos in San Francisco for under $1 million within 5 years. Again, it goes back to what they said about Toronto and Vancouver and Sydney and all these cities. Basically, if you don't buy now, you'll never own. You'll be completely bought out of the market. That's what they set up here. And that's what they're saying right now in California. But what they set up here is falling apart because there's more supply than demand on the market and prices are falling. And single-family homes, which already average well over $1 million, will reach the average around $5 million. For $5 million for a house, for a detached tear-down bungalow. Supreme candidate says, "I commute from Toronto to Ottawa. I understand the real world, plebes." And then somebody else saying Justin Trudeau is the best useful for the elites. And too much spending. We need leadership in politics. Yeah, we're spending more than what we're making, and we're falling into a huge problem here. It's not good. Oh, man. San Diego's least affordable housing. Again, San Diego, San Francisco, all the saints are overpriced. All the saints are overpriced. Nevada lawmakers look to make housing crisis worse. Oh, man. You guys know what's been happening in Nevada, right? They want me to pay for this, to read this article. But I can tell you, there's an oversupply, slightly oversupply in the market. Market's trimming out right now. Benchmark median house price is around $295,000. So you can still pick up something within the Vegas area or the Reno area. Reno, you can still pick up something under $150,000. So we got in. So we already had on the show Mario DeSettis from Barrie, Ontario, and we had Steve Thomas from Melbourne, Australia. And who else do we got here in the Skype that we could bug? Oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh man, I got like 700 people, 900. I have so many people on Skype here. I don't even know. So many people on Skype here. Man, I didn't even think I knew that many people, to be honest with you. Heck, I don't even know that many people. All right, let's keep going here. All right, let's see who's available. We got... Who wanted to come on the show tonight? Someone told me they wanted to come on the show that's never been on the show before. Who wants to come on the show? Anybody? Somebody wanted to come on the show tonight. I'm not sure who it was, but they wanted to make an appearance tonight. Kevin Thompson. Call in Kevin Thompson. The Raven said he'll come on Saturday. We need yeah, let's get Rainier. Rainier, where are you? What's your name on Skype? We'll give you a call. I'm trying to find him here. I can't find him here. Let's see if we can find him here. Search people. Let's give him a call. Let's get him on the show. There it is. Oh, no, I don't have it. Hold on. I got it. It's double L. You got double L. You got a double L in your name. Let's give you a call, find out what the heck is going on here. Oh, I'm going to call you on the phone. I'm not going to call you on video camera. Yo! You there? Hello? Rainier, are you there? Nobody home. Nobody home. Let's try one more time. In Montreal, we got Rainier Mola. Nobody home. No Rainier Mola. All right. No dice. All right. You're not answering the phone. Okay. Who else we got? Steve the Plumber will go live when he shows up at Kevin Thompson's condo when he gets evicted and floods his condo, right, Steve? Yeah, you know, Kevin Thompson, I don't know what he's been up to. He's not in the chat tonight, is he? I don't see Kevin Thompson in the chat at all. Mike Martins, are you familiar with the fire technique? No, I'm not. Supreme Cannon, Kevin's flooding his condo as we... Probably get a little bit of insurance, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of insurance. We got Alan here. Let's see if Alan wants to come on the show. Yeah, universities are warning on caps, on creating caps of how many foreign students they could have. Oh yeah, it's my man Alan down in Windsor, Ontario. Two-time world champ. Here we go. Happy to talk building. Okay, let's go. More Melbourne talk. Let's get somebody on here. Let's call on Skype. We got Peter M. Hung up on me. Peter M. Where are you, Peter M? So he hung up on me again. All right, so that's done there. Lost Canuck is still live here. Hey, Martin, if you're still up for the interview, let me know what time. There's another channel that just started out. I want to see if I can get him on the show. Another housing discussion channel. He's already had a few people on his show, and he's doing well. Let me see if he picks up the phone. Let's see if he picks up his phone.
Hello?
Tom.
Hey.
It's Mike. You're live on Mike in the Night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm very good. I don't know if it's a good time to call now, but boy, do I have a story for you. I have four different...
Well, I called you, so you're going to tell us this story.
Oh, okay. I was in the middle of training now, but they can't hear me, so I'll just tell the story. But Mike, wow, Australia is going down, and I can tell you exactly why. And they're all silent now, but I know they're in big trouble. And I was in Perth, and I saw my sister. She did really well early on. She bought 2 houses, and they went up 3 times or whatever. But she bought a house in the desert for 1.5 million, and she was living credit card to credit card, and it was just getting insane. Did you hear anything about the desert stories?
I've heard some people overpaying big time to live in the desert. Yeah, I've heard quite a few with the mining boom collapsing, and a lot of people losing their jobs, and a lot of people losing their shirts. And okay, guys, I want to introduce you guys to A Pillbox. A Pillbox. This is his channel right here. He's on the channel with us live right now, and he's got housing stories here, and he's got Steve, who was earlier on our show, Steve Thomas, here on his show. And this is his channel here. I'm going to leave a link in the chat if you guys want to subscribe his channel. I'll leave it right now in the live chat. Go over there and subscribe. Let's get him up to 100 subs this week. Okay, go ahead, Tom. Go ahead. It's all you.
So basically, in Australia, I kind of woke up to how bad it was when my sister was explaining how she bought this house in the desert, and it sort of just passed over my head. And then I was invited over to my friend's house, and I got to his house in the city in Perth, and it was a gorgeous house. And I realized, oh, he's showing off his house because these guys are living in palaces. I mean, they have the same jobs as me. They had the same job as me, and we worked in a restaurant washing dishes. And then I started saying, you know what, this is getting out of control. My sister just bought $1,500,000 house in the desert. And he goes, oh, yeah, you know, I kind of laughed at my friend too, who bought a house off the internet without even seeing it in the middle of the desert. And I called him crazy. But you know what, Tom? A few weeks later, I looked on the internet and thought these houses are really good. And I bought one too, just the other day. So, I mean, these guys, they were so addicted by the rising bull market for over 30 years. And not just that, the baby boomers were pushing them into the real estate markets because they did well early on as well. And the only reason why it continued for 30 years was because we had a Paul Volcker in the middle who reset the market, and we don't have a Paul Volcker now resetting the market. So anyway, so that was the second case with my friend and his friend. So that's three people buying houses in the desert, and just before that, I remember in 2008, everybody was buying a second, third, and fourth house for $600,000-$700,000. I mean, it was just crazy. And these guys, there is no way they would have thought this would have cracked. And I bet you right now they're sitting at home thinking, oh, it's going to come back up. Oh, Christopher Joy's got us, right? Blah blah blah. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Are you seeing the same thing? Did you see the same thing?
I've been talking about this for many years now, and it's not normal. And with the amount of people buying and borrowing from other equity to buy other homes, is an absolute disaster in the making.
You know what? I see a Soviet Russia collapse. I see this so bad. My country doesn't produce shit. It doesn't make anything.
No.
I'm not joking. I got forced out of Australia back in 2013 because it got so expensive, and I was begging my wife to move to Japan. I had enough money to buy a house in Japan, and she wouldn't budge. And in the end, we had a divorce. And I moved over to Southeast Asia, and you wouldn't believe the capitalism here. Every few houses on my street has a table out the front selling a product that they're producing in their backyard or on their bit of land. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't believe it. I go back to Australia. This place is gonna crash into the ground. If Australian dollar goes down,
it will.
I don't know. Yeah,
I was just talking to Steve Thomas, and we've already. It's going to go down because they're looking at lowering rates in the next month or the next quarter. If they do lower rates, you're going to look at a 3 to 6 cent drop.
Oh God, well, you know, I think there will be a point in this year or next year where the guys who are really silent now, who've got 3-4 houses and still sitting on their desert shacks, I think they're gonna get to a point where they're gonna panic, and then there's gonna be a war kicking off with Trump and China or whatever, or Venezuela, wherever, and I think this is just gonna get really dirty. And I'm just thinking, I don't know if I'm safe here in Southeast Asia, but I would hate to be in a country that doesn't produce anything and Chinese people can come over and just buy out unless the government comes in,
You
buy
know
all
that's
our
a big
food up.
competition. A lot of English speaking countries are competing for rich nationalists and rich oligarchs and rich investors. Is the future of these English speaking countries?
Yeah, and that's kind of natural, isn't it? I mean, that's the free
No, it's not
market as
natural.
well.
We've never done that we've always brought in when Canada brought in immigrants like myself. When the Portuguese came, we came to work and we worked construction and we did our jobs. We did our they brought in labor force, right? But now they don't need
Yeah.
labor force anymore. They need money, so they're
Oh
bringing in wealth.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I worked in a casino, and they would fly around the world trying to coax in whales, guys who had huge money that was just being poured out of these printing presses into whatever front they had, and they'd come over and just splurge all this printed money into our country, which helped um, push everything up. Um, yeah, yeah. The biggest problem is in Australia, we're handing out the immigrants that are coming over. We're handing out free money to sit on your ass. I went to the free money place called Centrelink in Australia just before I left because I thought, screw it, I'm not gonna work all day, all so much that I can't even see my children grow up just to pay the rent because I didn't buy. And I thought, oh, fine, I'll go on government money. And I got there. The line was out the door and around the corner just for government money. So, I mean, when your parents came over and my parents came over to Australia, there wasn't all these freebies handouts
Oh
everywhere
no,
as well.
no, interest rates. I think we're at 13%. I think my dad bought our first house. I think for like $36,000. He ended up paying it off in 4 years, and sat on that equity for 20 years, and bought a bigger house, and then sat on that equity, and you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at every angle in the West, everything is wrong. The family's being screwed up. The economy's being screwed up. I mean, the schools are teaching us nothing. They actually damage our brains with, I mean, telling us to shut up and sit down and listen and you do this and you do that. I mean, every angle, I just feel like I'm going crazy.
I was gonna ask. This Saturday, we're gonna do Mike in the Night show on Saturday night, 9 p.m. my time. It's gonna be like 3 p.m. your time. I was wondering if you wanted to come on the show. Where our topic for Mike in the Night is going to be survival and living off grid, because
Oh,
a
yep.
lot of people need to learn tips and tricks on what to do when you don't have any water, how to, especially people living in condos, how do they get out? Because I wouldn't stay in a condo if there was no power and there
Yeah.
was no lights or water. You know what
Oh,
I'm
no
saying?
way. Oh, you'd never get out of the city. It'd be I mean, unless you were a good runner and you could run out of the city. I mean, talking about an EMP attack or something, but I don't think you'd get out of the city. I mean, I'd see it's utter chaos. Oh, and the government would probably come in and help you for a while. But actually, what I'm an expert at is blending into a city. Let's say if you have to get out of the country because you've got some life debt, and you go illegally into a country and have to meld in or blend in so that the police don't pick you up. I'm really good at that, actually. And I
Nice. So
could
you
tell
can tell
you,
us some tips and tricks how to blend in with the public. I'm good
yeah,
at doing like the whole Cuban thing because I do speak Spanish and Portuguese. Like I could go into Brazil and kind of just be part of the whole thing, and I could do the same thing in Mexico. I could go anywhere I want,
yeah,
but and just get in, and nobody would even know. All I have to do is
yeah.
tan for 3-4 days, and I'm in. But
I was I stayed illegally in a country for 2 years, and this country there were police everywhere on every corner, and I used to have to plan my day, and I had times when the police sat down right next to me, and they were eyeing me like, oh, I wonder if this guy is an illegal or not, and I mean sometimes you get into a situation where, I mean, the government really breaks you in half, and you end up in these situations where it's crazy. And I've been into the prepping situation as well. I could tell you, I'm not the best at it, but I'm better at kind of blending into foreign Asian countries.
that's good. That's good. Okay,
I,
we'll have you on Saturday, And anything else housing related you want to tell us? Okay, when do you see the bottom coming out in Australia? When do you see it falling out?
Well, I see the central banks absolutely screwed, and they keep playing down Bitcoin, but it is their Achilles heel. If they cut interest rates and start buying and doing QE again, Bitcoin's going to go absolutely psycho, and then they're going to come in. I know they're going to come in and cut again. I don't know how long it will take. It might go back through 20,000, but mark my words, if they start doing QE, there's no way they can control crypto. And thank God we've got that. And anyway, so they're going to probably cut again after it goes to 40,000 or whatever, and then it'll be done. It'll be done. But I don't know whether these idiot baby boomers will figure it out before then. But it's coming in the next. Well, it probably could be this year because they're going to cut, and the markets. Bitcoin already hit 5,000. It just went back up to 5,000. I mean, Bitcoin was supposed to go to 0. Why is it still at 5? Why? It's because if you look at all the currencies in the world, they don't hold a thimble of water compared to Bitcoin. I mean, it's the only way to trade up and discover a price. It's the only way.
Right, of course. There's a more intrinsic value in Bitcoin because it's not running off a printing press, and it's not manipulated, and it's not all the stuff.
So okay, I agree. Crypto could go to 0, but the currencies will go to 0 before crypto goes to 0. And then
I agree in crypto. I think crypto is a great idea. I understand. It can't be manipulated. It's hard to shut down. Crypto's good. It's fine. I think it's in two early stages right now.
But
the reason why crypto isn't been seeing too much movement is because the big players haven't been playing it with it again. Like Goldman Sachs, Jamie Dimon, all those guys haven't been playing with it. Once those guys start playing with crypto again, or actually start making it more of a intrinsic product or more of a go-to than your typical bond, stocks, and futures markets, then you start seeing more movement and volatility in the crypto markets.
They all backed off because they knew QE was going to be ended, and they all backed off. But I think they'll all jump back in big time. But with crypto, as long as you tokenize it against your product or a service that is built into the programming, I mean, it's fine. I mean, Bitcoin is just a ledger. That's it, and that's why people complain about it, saying it's 0. And okay, yeah, it's true, but it's the first, and it's still a measurement of tradable commodities like pieces of paper with a dollar on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. It's we have to take it as legal tender, and we have to agree. You, Tom, have to agree with me that this is worth $20, and we have to agree what $20 could purchase between me and you if I'm selling something to you.
Yeah. And then they come in and then they monopolize the brick industry like they did in my city, so they can control prices and this and that. I mean, there's only one company that produces bricks in my city. Can you believe that? A country that's supposed to be having a boom in housing. Quality's going down and all the industries are monopolized. What the hell? I mean, here in Asia, you get every guy in this corner street making bricks if it was a boom time. I mean, it's so screwed up.
It is. I'm looking at your channel. You're up to 12 subscribers right now.
Oh, so, really? Wow.
Guys, A Pillbox, please subscribe to him. He's on our channel. He's taking his time out of his training to talk to us. And
just before I go, Stephen Thomas is a bit of a gold mine. I mean, he is on the ball. He can look at the economy, probably because he's got a business dealing with all of this. And he can really pinpoint what's happening. I really enjoyed talking to him.
No, Steve Thomas is amazing. I've had him on the show. He's been on the show at least for the last 2 years now.
I can't tell you how much. You're the first guy I saw after I came back into this scene, because I got wiped out. I just lost everything, and I can't tell you how thankful I am to you as well.
What you found? Well, how long you been following me?
Well, actually, I've been following this whole thing for nearly 20 years, and it got so bad after 2013, I switched off, and then I turned on YouTube, and I just thought, I'll have a look what's going on, and I saw your video, and it was like a ray of sunshine, And I realized, holy shit, we're there. We're actually there. And now Trump's actually attacking all the liberals. And now they're the conspiracy theorists for trying to frame Trump as a Russian colluder.
Well, they
I
handed
mean,
them the presidential. They handed it to him with the stupid Russian collusion that never existed.
yeah. And then the information came out of WikiLeaks, what they were doing, with that Hillary thing,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
I don't want to mention it, but
yeah, yeah. No, 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 big deal. No big deal. No big deal.
I think in Australia, the baby boomers are shaking in their boots. I think they're starting to realize that they've got nothing. I mean, I'd take a photo if I saw an Australian who could actually produce something. And I'm not talking about assembling bits of Chinese products that they import over and they put them together.
I think in all fairness, I think in Australia there should be a law of okay, we'll invent this on the show. We'll invent a name. We'll call it the right to buy law, okay? The right to buy law, I'm just making this up. 1 in 10 things in Australia that's being sold must be made in Australia.
Oh God, they'd be scrambling for entrepreneurs. I mean, you can't point at a commodity and say it's a product because Soviet Russia, what were they famous for? What is it, mink and vodka? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, they exported more vodka than we did water.
I mean, you've got producing something is a little bit more than just digging up some rocks or selling
Well, that's
your
why
university papers.
one thing I don't understand about Australia is, especially in Perth, why don't they make their own bicycles? Fabricate, make bicycle shops,
Yeah.
and export to the world bicycles made in Australia.
Oh, we have a nanny state that is absolutely choking to death every angle of our society, the family, the businesses, the food is absolutely horrendous. It's full of GMO, what is it, sunflower oil and canola oil. Oh God, my body is absolutely screwed up from canola oil. I suppose it's exactly the same as what's going on in America and in Canada, but yeah.
Yeah. Where in Canada, it's everywhere. I mean, there's too much. There's just too much unbalancing here in Canada, and all the Canadian players, all the big Canadian players have left the big cities and moved to small towns. A lot of the employers are moving to smaller cities now to run their factories and their production facilities because they just can't find help in the big cities anymore because there's just no more Canadians living in there anymore.
In 2012 or 13, I looked at realestate.com.au and I could not find one house, besides the middle of the desert, but one house that was below about 400,000. It was absolutely insane. And I look at the realestate.com.au, all around Perth on the outskirts, there's houses for $100,000. I mean, they keep saying it's gone down 20%, 10 to 20%. That's not true. It's been decimated, and they're keeping silent like they always do. I mean, you want to call somebody a coward? It's them. Why don't they admit that Australia's getting killed? And it started in the desert, now it's moved to the outskirts of the cities, and it's coming into the cities now. I mean, they're so arrogant. They won't admit it.
Mm-hmm.
I just did a video showing all the you can buy land.
I saw it. It's right here. Australian
Yeah,
housing collapse. Hundreds of houses up to. I see it right here.
Yeah.
You posted it 2 days ago.
Yeah, I should do one of every city and just go around it. I mean, it's really coming down big. And now they're pointing their Air Force at China. What are they, stupid?
Yeah.
They're pointing the Air Force at China. Australia's nothing. We got nothing there. China doesn't have to attack. All they have to do is use economic sanctions and we're screwed because everything's made in China.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't like to be bitter against Australians, but I'm pretty bitter against these guys. I mean, they forced us into universities to learn nothing. We get out, there's no jobs, there's no factories. Then we have to go to work for the government or some quasi-government Frankenstein. That, like, for example, the casino, which gets all its money from the printed money coming through, and you have to deal with,
I know.
I'm working for a company now in China who's teaching English. They love their customer. All they want the customer to be is happy. And I get on there, and we just have a blast. I mean, a real company, a real capitalist country, they enjoy selling their product to the customer. It's all fun.
I hear you.
That's why people love Asia. They come over here. I mean, it's just capitalism galore.
I hear you. Yeah, so let me know if you're free for Saturday night for Mike in the Night and give us some tips and tricks on how to blend into different cultures without raising alarm.
Oh God, I'll do some research. I've got a lot to tell you. I've got some crazy stuff to tell you, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I meant to prepare for this more, but I'm glad that you called in, actually. And
I wanted
we
to
had
call
this
you
chat.
because I wanted to plug your channel, right? You're at 15 subs by now, right now.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, it just happened. I went on Former Fist and had a bit of a rant, and then Thomas called me, and he really pushed me into it, and then I started doing it, and I just feel like if the universe wants me to do it, I have to do it. I know I'm not even a drop in the bucket compared to what you've done. I mean,
Oh
I
no,
feel it.
we're not
I feel
comparing. We're here today. It doesn't matter what I did.
Yeah.
It's what happens now, today, and right now, and what changes we can make now. Who cares about before?
Well, I tried 15 years ago to start doing videos just after 9/11. I didn't believe in 9/11. It took me 7 years to figure out that they were actually onto something. But and I remember I didn't have the balls to do it. Some troll would say something mean to me, and I'd delete my video.
Oh wow. Well, no, you shouldn't let the trolls get to you. I get trolls all the time, man. I get trolls. Yeah, I get trolls all the time. So don't worry, man. Lots of trolls.
You know, it's funny. They point at a lot of us, and they'll say, "Oh, you're a perma bear, or you're a 9/11 conspiracy theorist, or blah blah blah." But you know, if you look at these baby boomers, they're crazy. I mean, my mother was a lesbian feminist who hated men. That's from her mouth. She called herself a white witch. She had friends who were black witch who sacrificed things. I mean, you wouldn't believe these sickos. Eh? I mean, my grandfather was a grandmaster mason. You
Wow.
wouldn't believe. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
let's
God.
save this for Mike in the Night because this is Mike in the Night talk. This is really good. I want to have you on from the beginning from the show, but I want you to introduce like this kind of background and family, and then go into what you know.
wouldn't believe it. I'm related to the Queen. My family is everything that comes out on YouTube is so similar to my family. I'm like, what's going on? It gets really sick as well. But anyway, yeah. I'll definitely let you.
Yeah, no, we'll get that
you
for
all
Mike in
about
the
it.
Night. This Saturday, it's going to be 9 p.m. my time. It should be around 3 p.m.
Okay.
your time.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you.
No, thank you,
so
Tom, for
much.
coming on, and I'll plug your channel for the rest of the show.
Can you write the time in Skype and in Canadian time, or so I know exactly?
It's
So I
going to be
might
roughly
forget.
3 p.m. your time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
See you.
See you, Tom.
Bye.
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 So that's Tom. He's got a lot to tell us, man. He's got a lot of messages from here on Skype. So it's good to have him on. Here's his channel, guys. A Pillbox. So please subscribe to his channel. He's at 15 subscribers. He's got some pretty good content. He's going to promise us probably 2 to 3 videos a week. All right, let's paste this. Hey, Demise Music and Entertainment. Where are you? Did you leave? Demise. Turn on your Skype. I need you on the show. I know you're probably going to go do a show tonight, but I need you on the show. Demise Music and Entertainment. Where are you? Hold on. Demise. Where is he? He's in San Jose. And I want to get him on the show. He's in San Jose right now. And San Jose, man, the average house in San Jose is nuts. It is nuts. And I want to know what the heck is going on. So we got, everybody please subscribe. Opal Tower update here. We got an Opal Tower update, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. We got an Opal Tower update. So I'm just going through the Skype now, guys. Just rolling through, see who's around, who's still awake. Lost Canuck's still on Skype. Holy, I should wake him up, man. I know he went to sleep, but he left the Skype on. Guys, nobody feel bitter if I turn off my Skype. I leave it at Do Not Disturb after the show's off. I just get too many messages. It's just out of control. Yeah, we lost Demise Music and Entertainment. Damn. He was in the comments for a few seconds. I wanted him on the show. Right now in San Jose, the stuff is out of control, and I really wanted to know what was going on in his neck of the woods. I really, really do want to know what's going on. Yeah, he's not here. Damn it. Damn it. He's offline. Let's see if he picks up. I don't think he's going to pick up. Yeah, he's not picking up. Damn, he's not online. Too bad. Really wanted to have a talk with that guy. I really wanted to know what was going down there because he was looking to buy a house in the San Jose area, but everything was over $1 million. So let's get where is he? Rainier Mola. I wonder if Rainier Mola is around. I tried calling, but no one answered. All right. Okay, Rainier calling in. Yo.
Hello, Mike. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you perfect. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to hear from you, buddy.
I'm sorry, my Skype wasn't working properly, so I just fixed it.
Oh, no problem. So tell us, what is going on in the Montreal, Quebec area?
All right, so this is going to be a completely different perspective because watching your show from the past month, it seems everywhere is going downhill. But in Montreal, it's actually the complete opposite. It's really hot.
I know. We've been covering the bidding wars there for a while now. A lot of people have left the Toronto area. Do you see a lot of investors there? Who's there? Who's buying these places? Is it investors? Is it Canadians fleeing?
All right, so I'll tell you about the last 2 years, which is where I really saw a change. So in 2016, I bought a house in Montreal. It was a $1.4 million house in Montreal. Now, when I bought it that time, the area was 80% Italian.
80%
right now,
80% Italian. Yes, continue.
That's right. It's 2019 right now. It's now 50% Chinese. Drastic change. 50% Chinese. Now I had my property what's it called, assessed a few months back. Within 2 years, it went from 1.4 to 2.6.
Wow, I would honestly consider selling that right now with all the laws being put in place and all the. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would advise on walking away with $1 million. It's got a nice ring to it.
And that's not the only thing. I didn't tell you the whole story yet.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is completely paid off.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, so I don't know if you remember this, but I started investing in real estate in 2008.
Yeah, you told me you have 103 properties?
I got 124 units so far.
124 units. Yeah, I remember you. I remember you clear as day.
And I started with 60 grand Canadian dollar to 124 units. Now, what I did is I took one of the properties, like I was a 75-25 partner with a friend of mine. I bought him out and I refinanced. So I bought 18 of his unit and I got full ownership. And using that refinance of my money, so for those of you who don't know, in Quebec specifically, when you're refinancing, you get 80% of the appreciation to continue investing. So in that case, what I did, I just straight up paid off this property, mainly because I do have a family, we need a place to live and so on. And my wife was interested, so I'm like, you know what, I'll buy it. And right now I'm not sure, but I'm considering buying a condo.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
So do you know about West Edmonton Mall, the largest mall in Canada?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is. Yes.
So in Montreal, they're doing something similar where they're building Royal Mount Mall. It's nearly the same size as West Edmonton Mall, and there's a condo that's coming up. A broker came to see me. It's up for 520 grand, a penthouse, 2-bedroom, the biggest penthouse around that mall. And I'm really concerned because this seems really cheap, considering the area and what's being built there. And I'm also aware that things aren't looking good I do suspect that in the next 2 or 3 years there is going to be a recession, because the way I'm seeing things right now in Montreal, the prices are not making sense to me. Like, no, like when I'm trying to invest in something, I usually have a price in mind in terms of what it's worth for. It's usually double what it's worth for.
Right. So right now, I don't know if anything's a good time to buy right now. I think right now, if you buy in Montreal or Quebec, anywhere in Quebec, I think you're buying at the top of the market right now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely at the top of the market. So I've been getting some questions from the comment section. It's like, how do you protect yourself if you're real estate investors from a recession? And one of the best ways to increase cash flow. That's the best way. So what I'm doing right now is literally holding on. I do expect a crowd, not like investing. I was thinking of investing like a year back into multifamily real estate. So that's what I do. I invest in multifamily real estate. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm building units. So within my existing investments, I have basements.
Like yeah, you would add an extra unit in there.
Yeah, so I'm building 13 this year.
Oh, okay.
So the idea is if you're able to increase cash flow in your existing properties, you can essentially protect yourself. It'll still go down, but in the long term, you're going to retain as much value as possible.
Yeah, exactly. But how are you feeling right now, the market? Like, how are you feeling? What are you feeling a bit uneasy? Do you think maybe it's time to sell when you can?
What I'd say is, for first-time buyers, don't buy right now. Like, you're gonna make a really bad decision if you buy in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. What I recommend is wait for the market to crash, because I got lucky. In 2008, I had no idea about this economic cycles. I got really lucky, so I bought at the lows. So I'm really grateful in that aspect. But what I can tell you from my experience, don't buy right now. If you are already an investor, I'd say to sell off those that aren't producing enough cash flow and keep the ones that are in really good location.
Okay. That's some good advice.
Did you want to talk about the first-time home buyers program?
Is there one right now in Montreal?
That's right. It's getting started. It's mostly if you don't, a lot of guys don't know this, but the first-time home buyers plan is mostly for Montreal, but people twisted what it's actually all about. So the first-time home buyers, it allows you. It's meant, according to liberals, to make it more affordable, right?
Right.
That's its purpose. But it's not making things more affordable. So the first-time home buyers actually allows the government to take 5% ownership of your property, but there's a limit. The limit is 4 times your income. So let's say your income is $80,000.
Right.
Right. You could buy your first home for $320,000.
Right.
But what people don't know is that without the program, you can actually borrow more from the bank. So you're actually making more unaffordable.
Oh.
So that's what people don't realize. So it's the opposite. It's not making more affordable. It's making it more unaffordable. Without the program, you can actually borrow more money from the bank. And I don't think Bill Morneau realized that at the time.
Oh, okay. I see. So basically, it's putting them into a basket of eggs that they don't have to be in. Exactly.
It's lowering their affordability. It's not an effective policy. It's not going to do anything to the housing market, because they sort of messed it up. It's not.
Well, the government messes everything up. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't expecting much from them, anyways. But yeah, honestly, like I don't think JT's going to win the next election.
Oh, JT's finished, man. I think JT.
Like in Quebec, it's not looking good for him.
I mean, if he doesn't win his own province, he's screwed.
Oh boy, like in Quebec, it got real bad really quick. But I don't know how I feel about Scheer either, because like he doesn't really advertise his policies in Quebec, so we don't know much about him. But yeah, there's that.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, it is a scary place to be.
Well, I appreciate you calling in and giving us an update on what's going on there in the Montreal, Quebec market. I really appreciate that. And thanks for all the advice you gave us here, especially for first-time home buyers. It's not a good time to buy, and you said within 2 years.
Yeah, so right now, the thing I would pay attention to is the inverted yield curve.
Yeah,
So it did go negative lately. So if that stays sustained for 3 months, that's like a really bad sign.
that's a huge.
Within eight,
That's time for
that,
recession. Usually, what a lot of economists look at.
yeah. So like within 18 months, on average, there would be a recession if that signal stays sustained for 3 months. So
Right.
that's what we should really be looking out for.
For sure. For sure. Okay, Rainier, thank you so much for calling in, and thanks so much for being with us. And we'll have you on the show in the next couple of weeks to give us an update on the Montreal and what's going on in Montreal.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So that's Rainier. It's the second time he's been on the show from Montreal. So we got a lot of people in the comments. We got a lot going on. Okay, I don't think it would take two. I don't even think it would take 2 years, says Steve the plumber. Let's get, man, it's almost 2 hours I've been on here. Let's get Steve on before I head out to bed. Steve, where are you? Let me see here. Steve, let's get Steve on before I head out to bed. Let me get him here. He's in my favorites. I could find him easy. Stevie.
What's going on, Mike?
Nada, how are you, my brother?
Doing all right.
Okay, what do you got for us this week? What can you tell us? What are you allowed to tell us this week?
Only what I see. I hear a lot of things. A lot of it's starting to come to fruition, but we can talk about foreclosures, repossessions, whatever you want to call it. We can also talk about money laundering within Toronto, and whatever else you want to talk about.
Well, let's start with foreclosures. What's going on what's going on the ground?
We've seen a massive increase with respect to banks securing their position and repoing houses. However, you can look at the pros and the cons of this. The increase is 150% not Canadians.
So you're saying the increase of foreclosures are foreign investors?
I'm absolutely saying that 150%. You go into these houses, there is still furniture there, little to no furniture. They literally live like hermits, hardly anything in the fridge. It's just it's just an absolute disaster. And we are 150% seeing an influx of the foreign buyers that have bought in the last 1, 2, 3 years, whatever you want to call it, not being able to make their mortgage payments. They're behind on their taxes. I would imagine utilities, a number of different things because of the foreign capital outflows.
Well, the restriction of foreign capital outflows are pretty much zero now, and people are having a tough time getting any money offshore, especially into Canada with the tensions between Canada and China.
Yes. I mean, it's a slippery slope.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what's going on with the money laundering? What can you tell us?
Well, I have reason to believe a certain individual had steered me into the right direction, and I started asking some questions, and I was basically stonewalled and said that I probably shouldn't ask any more questions because they wouldn't be able to comment on it anyways. But there is at least one major chartered bank at an arm's length. In other words, a third-party company that is directly tied to a major chartered bank in Canada was engaging in money laundering for the purposes of mortgage fraud.
Well, this is not the first time this happened. So, this is the first time we're hearing about it in Canadian soil. We've heard about it in Wells Fargo, Wachovia. We've heard all the banks in the U.S. dealing with arms dealers and, I don't know, all kinds of money laundering for the cartels. Max Kaiser has brought it up 1,000 times, but it's the first time actually hearing about this happening in Canada. So,
Yeah. So it's probably a lot worse than what we've been led to believe. It's probably a lot worse than what is going to come out in the media eventually. And quite frankly, whatever we see, I would probably multiply that at least 2 times from what I've been hearing and what I've been told. I don't have any more particulars on that, but it's alive and well, and we are definitely in for a rude awakening.
this is going to hurt every common Canadian.
Well, yes, it absolutely is, because we all bought real estate. I shouldn't say we all bought, but a lot of people that bought real estate in the last 1 to 5 years bought into an absolute Ponzi scheme. They bought real estate on the basis of it's going to continue to go up and up and up. I'm a firm believer that 30 to 40% of people that bought real estate that should have never been able to buy that house that they bought, or that second house that they bought it on the sole basis that housing was going to continue to go up and up and up. And they wouldn't have a problem, and eventually they would sell and just pay off the mortgage and hopefully profit. Well, unfortunately, that's not happening anymore. People bought houses on the basis, like I just said, that they would continue to go up and up. And they had this security blanket of, the promised economy and future gains and everything else. Now people are experiencing life at several what per minute. And it's not good. It's really not good.
It's scary. It's very, very scary. And everyone in the comments earlier were saying that Toronto's on an uptick right now. Is this just a flash in the pan, or did people get a 70% pay increase overnight?
Sorry, say that again, Mike?
There was a bunch of people in the comments saying that the Toronto market is upticking now and it's ready for spring, and sales are on an up and up. Looks like the trend's going to head upwards. Did everyone just make 70% more money in their pay in the last 24 hours that I don't know about?
No, but you are seeing chartered banks, and TD is leading the way by example. They're lowering their 5-year fixed rate, which is directly tied to bonds. I get it, but I think their posted rate, or their advertised rate on Rate Hub right now, or as of yesterday, was I think 5-year fixed rate was about 3.14.
Okay. So do you think this is a flash in the pan, or affordability rate's still not there? Affordability is never going to be there until prices go down another 40, 50 points. Or wages go up 70%.
Well, that statement is true. I don't believe that Toronto has had an uptick. Toronto Real Estate Board, or TREB, likes to pool all their information together for the purposes of captivating all markets, from condos to semi-detached to the detached market. And when the lower end of the market is still bumping along and still, having gains and whatnot, because strictly to affordability, it's now evening out the slack of the falling prices with respect to the detached market. Now, today's date, Wednesday, April 3rd. Remember, we had this conversation.
Sure.
Everybody is saying, Toronto, it's ready for the spring market. It's primed, it's locked, and it's loaded. You know what? In about 2 or 3 months from now, we can go back on this video, and I would really, really love for somebody to tell me where the hell the spring market went.
Well, right now, Vancouver's crying the blues. Nothing's happening in Vancouver. If anything, if you saw the beginning of the show on the Better Dwelling article with amount of supply and how much sold, supply versus sales, it's phenomenal. The way the bird is spreading its wings apart is phenomenal. How there's so much oversupply and there's no sales, and we're getting down to 86 record lows for sales.
Yeah. And between what you just said and what Moby said, it's actually quite funny. Organized real estate, it basically, they put out their numbers, okay? They slosh them together. They favor it in terms of house prices, being great and the market being okay, so on and so forth, with respect to it being in Toronto. And they say house prices are up. Okay, all right, so house prices are up, but yet sales are down.
Yeah.
And the sales are down because everybody knows that sales are down, and the moment that they play with or fabricate or falsify their data any more than they already do, well, you know what? It's going to be so blatant, it's not even funny. But here's the trick, and Moby just solidified this. If wages have not gone up, and wages are merely stagnant or receding, okay, and house prices house sales have dropped to decade lows, for example. How the heck are prices up? How are they rising?
Well, yeah. Well, they could be rising technically if there's, let's say, instead of 10,000 homes selling.
It's a sidewalk struggle.
You guys here for the open house?
Realtor David Hutchinson takes to the streets to generate interest in a Vancouver condo.
Show us around. What do we have here?
563 square feet.
The new reality in Vancouver real estate is that prices are down. So are the number of sales. 2 years ago, this same unit would have been $80,000 more, and there would have been a lineup to buy it.
You didn't have to do too much. You put your signs out, you put it on the MLS, and you open the door and let the buyers in and present the offers to the seller, and you feel like a hero.
He blames a host of new taxes and fees brought in by the federal, provincial, and local governments.
You watching this, Steve?
Market.
Municipal taxation, the
I
empty
am,
homes
yeah.
tax.
I'm just going to have to mute it,
Provincial
so
level,
hang on,
we've got a
buddy.
speculator tax, a school tax, a foreign buyer tax. Federal level, we have the mortgage stress test.
Well, you have to compete right now.
The investor selling the condo says he knew he had to price it low and have it in top shape.
New appliances, new lighting fixtures, you name it. So you have to stand out right now if you're going to be able to sell.
Although the condo market is sputtering, it's detached homes seeing the biggest decline.
Yes, I am.
This house sold in 2016 for nearly $2.9 million.
Holy crap, that house is
It
worth
just
40
sold
grand.
For $900,000 less. At the lower end of the market, someone paid nearly $1.6 million for this house in 2017. It recently sold for a $230,000 loss.
So how big a difference does it make to you that a $3 million house is now a $2 million house?
It doesn't make any difference to me at all.
Many renters have given up on owning a home, even with the recent price drops.
Anybody with an average income in Vancouver that doesn't have, say, significantly a big amount of help from their parents, I don't think is going to be able to buy a house, let alone even a condo.
So even with recent price drops, there's still a huge gap between the average paycheck and what it costs to enter the market.
You come for the open? You here for the open house? No?
The result? Buyers and sellers in a springtime standoff, with realtors left waiting. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
And that's with the CBC News, guys. So yeah, they're grasping at straws here in Vancouver, and a lot of properties are getting haircuts, and that's what's happening, guys.
Yeah, I agree, and it's actually going to happen in Toronto. We will follow suit. It's just a matter of time. And remember, we have this conversation. So,
oh yeah. Oh, I remember all the conversations we have. Want to let people know if they want to support the transmission, go ahead and share one of my videos. Share one of my videos out there, guys. Please, please, please. Anything else, Steve? Because I'm going to be off soon. It's going to be 2-hour limit's up. Steve, anything else you want to add?
You know what, Mike? We can leave it there for this week. Good to be with you. And yeah, everybody get their popcorn ready. It's going to be a good show.
Okay, Stevie. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk sometime through the week.
Cheers, Mike. Bye for now.
All right, there you have it, people. I am pretty much putting on my Do Not Disturb on my Skype and setting it to invisible because it is time for me to spend some time with the family and then hit the hay. Everybody do your own research, like Crane Standing is saying. Crange, I hope I'm saying that right. Standing is saying, everybody do your own research. Do not leave it to your brokers. Do not leave it to your banks. Do not leave it to your barber. Do your own research when you are looking to invest in property. Very important. One of the biggest financial purchases you'll ever make in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to my main channel. Guys, please don't forget to share one of my videos if you want to support the transmission. Help me get out there. I've been doing this for many years now. I've got close to 4,000 videos I've made. And follow my life if you want with Rants and Lifestyle. My yearbook videos are doing really well. My game store business from scratch, where I take a business, a dilapidated building in my town, and I actually build it from scratch. Lots of videos here of how I get this place off the ground and make it what it is today. Starting a home business from scratch is really good on my channel. Living the dream is me leaving the city and coming to here. And yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's always a pleasure being with you guys. It's my 2 hours, so this will be uploaded in its full entirety in a couple of hours. You can watch it from the beginning. Share this, get it out, get the word out. And everyone, please educate yourselves. Do not take any information from me. Do not listen to what I say. This is just a formality of discussion for you to take your own notes. Okay, guys, don't forget for Mike in the Night this Saturday night, please don't forget to join me. We'll be discussing surviving off-grid, how to survive if there is an emergency or the power grid goes down or, I mean, your water stops working for some bizarre reason. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night, and please do me a favor, guys, if you don't mind. Add me on Skype. It's Mike Martins 1980 if you want to come on the show. I'm always looking forward to talking to you guys. Have a good one.